Hey Chris, how you doing?
Bradley, what's up?
Uh, hey, for those of you who don't know, lately Chris has been kind of like mentoring me on Instagram. When I met RVD, I kind of used it as like a mini interview, and I sent it to Chris. And I was like, "Hey, how did I do?" And he's been giving me tips, so I want to thank him for that. He's been amazing in my progress lately, so thank you for that. First of all,
Yeah, man, you're
um,
welcome. And like I said, everybody starts in the same place. So, no one's better than anybody.
yeah, and I agree with you when you said like newsworthy things because RVD when he was on here, he actually said to us, "I've got some unspoken projects with WWE." So like you hit it right on the head. Also threw on my rock shirt for you.
Playeth the smacketh down.
I love it. Yes, if you smell what the rock is cooking. So my
Mm.
question is, uh, how important to you do you think it is to like fuel the journalists of tomorrow? Because I know a lot of people, they don't really have that encouragement in a way to get out there. Like for me, I was like, Chris is my way to get out there. So how important do you feel it is to help the people of tomorrow?
It's really interesting because, look, journalism and broadcasting in general has changed drastically over the last 10, 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
For me, when I started my broadcasting career, I got my first radio job in 2004, and then I was on TV for the first time in 2005. I didn't have anybody. I didn't have anybody that I could reach out to. The internet was still somewhat in its infancy. So, if it takes a minute out of my day to answer someone's question, or if I can be a guest on someone's podcast, I'm happy to do it because I didn't have those opportunities. And if someone can see what I've built or what I've been very fortunate to have grow for me and realize that it's possible for them, I mean, that's just super exciting for me.
I agree completely. And another thing is, how important do you think it is in the long run doing the little things? Like, using a meet and greet as a way to get a small interview or reaching out to someone like you. How important is that in the long run?
I think that's really important because you're going to build those little steps are going to build into bigger steps and it's going to turn into something else after that. I was, when I started my career, I was taking moments on a red carpet and asking questions, that had nothing to do with the movie or nothing to do with the event that I was a part of because I genuinely just wanted to know the answer to something. So I kind of like maybe overstep my boundaries a little bit, push the boundaries, if you will. And I think that you're never going to get anywhere unless you're kind of pushing those boundaries, pushing the envelope and seeing what you can do. So keep taking those opportunities, Bradley.
Thank you very much. And so another thing is that I was thinking about this. I was like, what is an interesting question I could ask? Because a lot of people tend to ask the same things or stuff that people have already answered. And I've watched a lot of Chris Jericho, and I know that he doesn't like to answer, like stuff about wrestling all the time, or he prefers to talk about Fozzy. So my thing is, like, what do you think is the importance of also being different in asking questions? Because I had this little argument with my friend where she said, well, that's not the stuff that's really, that everybody wants to hear. And my argument was, yeah, but if I ask something that's different that they like to talk about, they're going to want to come back. I may lose those viewers, but I may get that connection. So what is your stance on that?
I think it's so important to look. Famous people do interviews all the time. And a lot of those interviews sound the same with the same types of questions, which lead to the same types of answers. I think it's so important to get something that kind of breaks them out of that. For example, I just interviewed Lance Archer this morning, which is an interview you guys will be seeing next week. And he'd been tweeting about how he
Ooh.
hated mint chocolate. And I'm like, how can you hate mint chocolate? And then, that's something I'm sure he's never been asked before, but it led down this really interesting path. And I actually learned this from doing the celebrity interviews that I did. And I had some really big hit interviews 8, 9 years ago with the Twilight movies. And the thing about the Twilight movies is they had these dedicated fans, for Robert Pattinson and Kristen Stewart. So if you could ask them something that was completely different than what they were used to talking about, the fans ate it up. And that is the case, not just with movie actors, but that is the case with wrestlers as well. And then maybe you can find like a common ground. Like I also found out this morning that Lance Archer likes pineapple on pizza, which is absolutely disgusting, but he defended this, and it made for a really cool moment.
See, I like that. And that's why I wanted to, because honestly, if I had a top 3 lineup like you talked about earlier, it would be Chris Jericho, The Rock, and Chris Van Vliet. Because it's like, yeah, you can talk to the wrestler and this famous person, but then there's also people like Chris and Alicia Atout who, like, they really know stuff. And if you pick their brain, you're going to be surprised, which I think we've all learned today. So thank you very much. And I don't think you get enough credit.
Oh, well, thank you so much. We're still building here. We're just getting started.
Thanks, Bradley.
Yeah.
Thanks, Bradley.
Have a good day.